Hello, everyone. Good win that 2-0 away in Sheriff. I was a bit apprehensive before the game. Obviously, these can be tricky. They could be banana skins. Everyone was talking about the fact that they beat them 3-0. They beat Real Madrid they beat Real Madrid last season away in Madrid, didn't they? 3-2, I think it was. But I heard in the commentary that they've got a new manager since then, and they've changed about 8 or 9 different players in the team. But sometimes you'd expect that to mean improvements rather than going backwards. So there was always a chance of a banana skin. And the thing is, you're not hiding to nothing, because you go to a club like that, and when you win, nobody gives you any credit for winning. So it's a thoroughly professional performance. I wasn't surprised he went back to his team. Well, a lot of people will say there was a reason for that, in that we haven't got a game for 2 weeks. We haven't got a game this weekend. Obviously, the next game is City. So a lot of people might say, well, he was bound to do that just so these players can play. They can play because they haven't got a game at the weekend. But it was more important than that. Having lost the first game, he's desperate to get 3 points on the board. So that's just as equal a reason. Even if we were playing at the weekend, is it supposed to be Leeds on Sunday? Even if we were playing Leeds on Sunday, I think he still might have gone with his strongest outfit, or what he considers to be his strongest outfit, because he was desperate to get 3 points on the board. In this, we mentioned this on a show a week or so back. In this new format, in the Europa League, only the winner of the group goes straight into the last 16. If you come second in the group, then you have a playoff. The eight third place teams in the Champions League play against the 8 second place teams in the Europa League groups. So it's like an extra round, and you play that to get through to the last 16 against the 8 winners of the Europa League. So only the winners of the group go straight to the last 16. So it'd be great to win the group, for 2 reasons. Obviously, it's 2 less games, but secondly, there's that chance that you might get knocked out as well. It's 2 separate reasons. So it's vital that we got the 3 points. Obviously, we go to Sociedad on the last day, and going to Sociedad on the last day, we could do without going there. Desperately don't want to go there needing something just to get through, but we might need something now to try and win the group, and I can see that being the case. So there's a bit of work to do yet. On the actual game tonight, the way it went, a little bit sloppy to start with, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, but the goal settled us down. It was a lovely goal. Great ball by Ericsson into Sancho. Lovely, tricky feet by Sancho in the box to open up a little bit of space. Pretty similar to how we scored against Liverpool, by the way. So, so a lovely, well-taken goal by Sancho. I was well pleased for him. And interesting, I was very interested in the substitutions as well. Very interested. Scott McTominay came back into the team. A lot of people have been banging on, it's got to be Casemiro. As soon as he came, and Scott's beginning slowly to win people over. Make no mistake about that substitution tonight. That substitution tonight was because we were already in front, and the game, let's be honest, as much as it could have been a big banana skin, once you're in front in a game like that, you do expect to go on to win it. And Scott McTominay was taken off to wrap him in cotton wool. It's as simple as that. He's that important to the team. His all energy, his work rate, his effort, his strength, how good he is in the air. So many different physical attributes that are so important to United in midfield. The reason we got bullied at Brentford, because he wasn't playing, and we haven't been bullied in any game since then. So he took Scott McTominay off in a roundabout way. I mean, people will laugh at this. In a roundabout way, he's definitely the most important player in the manager's mind, in a way, because he's thinking, I can't take the chance. We've now got the game won. He's the player who I want to make sure is fit. Now, some people might think that means you're saying that he's the best player. Now, this is a complete massive swing around from the way he was getting ridiculed not long ago. So I'm not actually saying that the manager's saying he's the best player, but he's equally important, if not more important than most players. And that was the reason he was taken off. Some people might even think still that he's giving Casemiro that game. Of course, he's giving Casemiro a game to get some minutes in his legs, but there's numerous different ways that he could have given Casemiro a game. You know, he could have done a straight swap with Eriksen, or Eriksen could have gone in Bruno's position and he could have took Bruno off. I mean, a lot of people think Bruno's an important player in the team. If the manager thought Bruno was equally important, don't forget that game was really done and dusted at 2-0. It was really done and dusted. So if he thought that Bruno was as important as McTominay for the Manchester derby, he probably would have took Bruno off and he probably would have brought Casemiro on in Eriksen's place and put Eriksen in Bruno's place. So it's a big slap on the back to Scott McTominay. That, for me, is how the manager sees him at the minute, as vitally important to the team. So anybody who's thinking, it's to give Casemiro game time, to give him minutes in his legs, thinking that he might start, no chance. Scott McTominay will start in the Manchester derby. That's our next game. I'm saying he'll start in the Manchester derby. There is an international break in between. Anybody can get injured in international break. Of course, that can happen. But if he comes back fully fit from his trip wherever the Scotland are playing, he will be playing in the Manchester derby. Make no mistake about it. The next substitute on, by the way, was Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, I was very, very pleased with that. He's been out in the cold since those first couple of games, and Malacia has done well enough. He's just a little bit sloppy at times to me, Malacia. A lot of people are loving him. It always happens with new players. He is playing well. I'm not knocking him, and there might be others, but he's like the third player in a year or two that's tried to take Luke Shaw's place. A lot of people told me Williams was going to take Luke Shaw's place when he played 3 or 4 games, and I said he's nowhere near Luke Shaw, not a chance. And then people told me Telles was going to take Luke Shaw's place, and I said he's nowhere near Luke Shaw after watching him twice, not a chance. And now Malacia is a different kettle of fish. He's miles better than Williams. He's miles better than Telles. He's a lot closer to Luke Shaw, but he's still not quite as good as Luke Shaw. I promise you he's not. I know I'll get ridiculed, but I'm telling you he's not. And I think the manager is not absolutely convinced either. You think about the substitutions, they're all substitutions until the last. He brought Garnacho on, the only youngster. In a game like that, you think you might want to blood youngsters, but no, he's putting minutes in the legs. If you're a person who doesn't think Luke Shaw's worth giving minutes in his legs to, but you're also a person who thinks Casemiro needs minutes because we're trying to get him into the team, Casemiro was the first substitute on, and Luke Shaw was the second substitute on. He's a player who the manager is definitely thinking might be worth a place in this team. So it's not yet cut and dried. And I thought Malacia tonight, again, there's a few dodgy moments. People say, oh yeah, but Luke Shaw this, Luke Shaw that, Luke Shaw the other. The header that he headed back and they ended up getting a shot from it. These little things like that, they're happening all the time. And I often use that phrase, outcome bias. People get biased by the outcome. Luke Shaw, he got outstripped by the Brentford player. If the Brentford player would have missed that chance, it would have been almost forgotten about. But it's the outcome that biases people's opinions, even managers' opinions. So if that lad today, when he tried to lob De Gea, when Malacia headed it back, people would be on Malacia's back. The manager would be scratching his head thinking, oh, that wasn't very good. The fact that the player missed it gets you off the hook. There's been a couple of situations like that as well before. So I'm not just saying for those little things, by the way, he's not quite as steady on the ball. He's just not quite as good. And I'm not saying, like I did with Telles, like I did with Williams, that they're nowhere near. But Malacia is a lot better than them, but still not quite as good as Luke Shaw. So watch this space. Let's see what happens with that. What else is there to mention? I thought I'm glad to see Ronaldo get his 699th goal, whatever. I think that's what they said it was, and they thought he might have kept him on to try and get his 700th. Don't think he was happy coming off. I really don't think he was happy one little bit. He looks a little bit off the pace to me. There's a few sloppy little passes, and the ball bouncing off him a little bit. So I don't know when he's going to get. If he's going to get fully fit, if he is fully fit, if he's firing on all cylinders, is he 38? He's 38 coming up soon now. I wasn't overly impressed with Cristiano tonight. A lot of good things, of course, but one or two many sloppy moments, I thought. That's about it for now. So we've got a good 3 points under the belt, 2-0. Really important win. Obviously, we've now got the 2 games against Nicosia. I didn't see the scoreline, but I've just seen the league table on the TV there, the Europa League table. And going off the goal differences, I think Real Sociedad have only beaten Ammonia Nicosia by 1 goal at home tonight, which is a surprise for me. I thought they would have beaten them comfortably because I've seen that the goal difference is +2. So they've already got a +1 against us. So they've only beaten 1-0 or 2-1. That surprised me, that. So our next 2 games are against Nicosia. Those are the 2 games where we have to get the 6 points. I'm sure he will do. He's gone. I hope he doesn't make the mistake, especially in the away game, of thinking it'll be a cakewalk. It should and could be a cakewalk. But when we play the away game in Cyprus, he just needs to be a little bit careful and make sure that we've got a strong enough team to definitely get the 3 points in that away game. The 3 points at home against Nicosia should be a cakewalk. And then Sheriff at home, hopefully we're aiming at 12 points. And if we get the 12 points, we'll be through. We will be through, but we'd like to win the group, as I say, to miss out that round against against a Champions League team that have been knocked out. We'd like to miss that round out. So we need to get these 12 points under our belt, see where we lie. We might still need something in Spain at the end of the day. If they've already beaten us, if they could, it's easily possible that they could win all their games. If they win all their games, we'll be going there behind, and we'll be needing to win, and we'll be needing to win by 2. I think it'll probably go on the head-to-head. So we need to get all these points and then see how we are when we go to Real Sociedad.